If you're an operations, manufacturing, supply chain leader right now, let me tell you what nobody else is saying. You're just not managing the work. You're managing the anxiety, yours and your team's. If you're searching for how to lead in the midst of all this chaos right now, you're in the right place. This is about the mental game of Q4 leadership. See, we have layoffs going on, and you might be experiencing them in one department, and then you have a whole nother department. You're trying to hire people for those jobs. We have supply chain collapses because of governments you have no control over. And then, on top of it all, cyber attacks that are shutting down billion-dollar operations overnight. But that's just the surface of it all. Let me show you what's really keeping you up at night, and why your mental game is the only thing that's going to get you and your team through this time and carry you forward. Hi, I'm Miles Threat. Thank you for joining me for Legacy Leaders Lounge today. I help operations, supply chain, and manufacturing leaders stop drowning in the day-to-day and build legacy teams that thrive in the chaos. Do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel, and let's jump back in. Here are 5 psychological pressure points hitting operation leaders right now. And I guarantee at least 3 of these are keeping you up at night. The first pressure point is labor market whiplash. Yeah, you're laying off people in one area and you're having to hire in another because you're lacking the talent. And your team, they see the chaos. And right now, they don't trust you. And they're wondering what's going to happen next. Just a few weeks back, I was talking to a plant manager. Just had to go through a layoff. Laid off several people. Second time in 3 years that's happened in his organization. They were having a town hall meeting, and in the middle of the meeting, one of their leaders stood up and said, "Hey, this is the second time this happened in 3 years. I'm sitting here wondering if I'm going to be next. Do I have a job? Can I even trust y'all? Can't even believe what you have to say." And hey, that's not just a staffing problem right now. That's trust erosion. It is completely eroded out from under them. That's survivor's guilt. That's what I call leadership decision fatigue in operations. And that's different from regular stress. You see, when your team can't predict stability, they stop trusting your decisions. And they start protecting themselves instead of performing. 3 reasons why operation leaders are grabbing the adaptive edge off the shelf. You'll stop reacting to change and start leading through it. Your team will finally know what good looks like. No more guessing games. Zero theory, pure strategy. Stuff that works when everything is on fire. Stop managing the chaos and start leading with confidence today. Get your copy of Adaptive Edge in the link below. The second pressure point: geopolitical supply chain shock. A chip maker you've never heard of gets seized by a government. Suddenly your production line stops. A rare export ban in China, and your EV components are toast. Look what happened with MtC&x recently. They're a semiconductor supplier. In one geopolitical move, and automotive and electrical manufacturers across the globe were left scrambling. You're not a geopolitical expert. You're an operations leader. But now you're supposed to predict international trade policies? The psychological toll here is loss of control. And I know you love that control. And you're being held accountable for threats that you don't see coming and you can't prevent. That's the "am I ready" anxiety waking you up at 3 a.m. Pressure point number 3. Cyber risk equals physical shutdown. Jaguar Land Rover They got hacked. Factory went complete dark. They lost 1.9 billion pounds just overnight. No flood, no strike, a computer hack. And this wasn't theoretical risk. This is a real factory, real people, real revenue just evaporated overnight. And here's what haunts leaders. That invisible enemy. You can prepare for equipment failure, but you can't see no cyber attack coming until it's inside your system and completely shuts you down. This creates vulnerability, anxiety, and the "it won't happen to us" denial. But denial, that's no strategy. It's a psychological defense mechanism that leaves you exposed. Pressure point number 4, inventory anxiety. Do you stock up because of the tariff threats, or lean out because of cash flow? Either way, you're gambling, and the CFO, he's watching. I was working for a building supply manufacturer and had to help design some inventory training for their physical inventory. And as part of the team, we identified a lot of different root causes, like 61 total root causes to the inventory problem that they were having, and also helped them streamline the whole physical inventory process and cut it in half through our training. And here's what I learned. Every inventory decision is a bet. Stock too much, you tie up too much cash, it just sits there, dead, wasted money. Stock too little, you're shut down and sales plummet. Every day you're making a bet with incomplete information. This is paralysis by analysis. Fear of being wrong, the cash versus the risk trade-off that makes you second guess every decision. That's not operational stress. That's psychological warfare right there. The 5th and final pressure point, mental health crisis on the floor. Your frontline supervisors and team, they're burnt out. It's close to the end of the year. They've had it. Absenteeism is up. Safety instances are up. And you're supposed to keep morale high while you're trying to manage your own stress. I've worked and trained hundreds of frontline leaders in the manufacturing operations space. And what I've saw over and over again, these leaders carry the weight of their team's mental health while nobody is checking on them. One supervisor told me, I can't show them I'm struggling. They need me to be strong. But strength without support, that's not leadership. That is a ticking time bomb. This is empathy fatigue, isolation, the stigma around admitting you're struggling, and that kills leaders from the inside out. Now, most leadership advice will tell you to stay positive, be resilient, but that's bullshit. You don't need a pep talk right now. You need a system. And that mental game system you need right now is my ADAPT model. And it starts with awareness. You have to see those pressure points clearly. You can't deny them. You can't catastrophize them. Just see them for what they are. So I worked with a supply chain director recently, and he was so convinced everything was fine. We've handled worse, were some of the words coming out of his mouth. But his team was hemorrhaging talent, and he didn't see it until he lost 3 of his best team members in just a few weeks. See, awareness, it isn't pessimism, it's clarity. And you can adapt to what you don't acknowledge. And awareness is your first step to gaining control. Next is decision. See, anxiety kills decision making. And you need a model that will help you move forward even when you don't have all the answers. Indecision is a decision in itself, and it's usually the worst one you can make. Your team needs you to decide right now, even imperfectly, so that they can move forward. Next up is adjust. Those plans you made the first of the year, they are dead. Can you pivot right now without losing your team's trust? Doing training in the operations, manufacturing space required me to be able to adjust all the time. And I had to adjust and adapt to the needs of the operation because of their production demands. And if I'd stuck with my original plan, I'd lost all credibility. I would lose all trust too. But instead, we adjusted. And the teams, they respected that flexibility. See, rigidity breaks trust. Adaptability builds it. Your team doesn't need you to be perfect. They need you to be responsive. Performance is next. How do you keep momentum when everything feels like it's in chaos? It's through the small wins, the visible progress. That's how you do it. Momentum matters more than perfection right now. One small win this week beats 10 perfect plans you never execute on. Finally, there's trust. Your team, they're watching you. If you're anxious and hiding it, they feel it. If you're anxious and leading through it, they'll follow. Vulnerability isn't weakness when it's paired with direction. Your team doesn't need you to be fearless. They need you to be honest and steady right now. And listen, this isn't just about surviving. It's about adjusting. The leaders who come out of this the strongest are the ones who build that mental game right now. Not after the crisis. Not when things calm down, but right now. I've worked with hundreds of operation leaders managing through chaos and stress. And the ones who win, they have a model, they have a system. They don't try to wing it. And here are 3 quick wins you can experience this week. The first one is name the anxiety. Have a 10-minute huddle with your team this week. Be transparent about what you're facing and what your guys are going to do about it. That transparency is going to squash all those rumors. The second thing, one small win. Pick one thing your team can control and can execute on this week. Momentum matters more than magnitude at this point. And the third and final thing you can do this week, check yourself. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you exercising? Are you eating right? Or are you running on cortisol and caffeine? Your team needs you healthy. If you're leading through this and you need a model, no fluff, not theory, but a system, I can help you. I've got a free adaptive leadership readiness assessment. It'll take you 5 minutes to complete. And I'll show you where your mental game is strong and where it's leaking. The assessment is in the link below. And if you want to talk about leading your team through this chaos without losing your shit, let's get on a call. There's a link in the description below. The mental game, it isn't optional anymore. It's the difference between leading and surviving. Let's build yours together. I'm Miles Threat. Thank you for joining me for Legacy Leaders Lounge. And I'll catch you in the next episode.